Welcome back. There are vehicles built to move people, and then there are machines designed to carry lives, stories, and the quiet hunger for discovery. The 2025 Chevy camper van stands in that rare space between home and horizon. A traveling sanctuary engineered for those who believe the world feels different when the road becomes their companion. Inside this van, the first impression is a sense of calm order. The cabin opens like a well-composed photograph. Clean lines, warm textures, and a layout that feels almost instinctive. Light flows through the oversized windows, washing across soft-touch surfaces and brushed metallic accents that reflect a subtle glow. Every seam, every panel, every hinge seems placed with deliberate intent. You feel it before you analyze it, the coherence, the quiet confidence, the promise of comfort unbroken by the miles ahead. The seating carries the presence of a modern lounge, not a utility vehicle. Cushions hold their shape with a firmness that invites long journeys, while the fabric's tactile grain feels like a blend of resilience and hospitality. It's a space where the noise of the world softens. Even the sound of the sliding door has a hush to it, a gentle, dampened click that feels engineered to avoid interrupting a moment of peace. The ceiling height gives room to breathe, and the floor plan feels like someone sculpted air into usable space, bending the interior to human movement rather than forcing passengers to adapt. The kitchenette unfolds like a precision instrument. Stainless surfaces reflect ambient light with a cool, satiny sheen. The induction cooktop carries a quiet hum when it comes alive, and the compact fridge whispers when it cycles. A sound that disappears into the background like distant wind brushing past a forest canopy. Nothing screams for attention. Everything simply works, almost invisibly, like a well-trained crew behind a stage. Storage spaces open smoothly, revealing carefully measured volumes that make efficient use of every inch, transforming the cabin into a mobile studio for living well at night. The ambient lighting becomes the storyteller. Warm halos glow beneath cabinets and along the flooring, casting shadows with the softness of lantern light against a canvas tent. But unlike a tent, this space is resilient. The walls feel solid yet welcoming, the kind of structure that reassures without overwhelming. The bed layout transitions in seconds, shifting from day mode to night mode with a mechanical ease that almost resembles the closing of a camera shutter. Fluid, precise, satisfying. In Act 2, the engineering reveals itself. Beneath its quiet demeanor, the 2025 Chevy camper van carries a powertrain built not for performance bravado but for unwavering reliability. Chevy's claimed efficiency improvements for this model hint at a vehicle designed to go farther with fewer stops, and the torque delivery is smooth, linear, and predictable, exactly what long-distance travelers rely on. Acceleration is measured and deliberate, not rushed. It's like watching a river current gather momentum. Calm at first glance, but strong and persistent when you engage it. The suspension tuning matters here. Engineers tailored it for the mixed reality of campervan life. Highways, small towns, mountain passes, gravel pull-offs overlooking forgotten valleys. It absorbs imperfections with a gentle, wave-like motion, the kind of settling movement that relaxes the body rather than jostling it. Steering feels substantial, offering just enough resistance to inspire confidence, yet responsive enough to guide the van through tight campground paths without hesitation. On the open road, the van glides forward with the steadiness of a train on polished rails. Technology blends seamlessly into this driving character. The infotainment screen is bright without being glaring, its interface crisp and intuitive. Navigation highlights elevation changes, real-time conditions, and suggested charging or refueling points depending on configuration. The driver display delivers essential information in an uncluttered sweep, never overwhelming the driver with unnecessary noise. Assistance features work quietly in the background. Lane centering that feels like a steadying hand, adaptive cruise that reacts naturally rather than abruptly, and safety systems that seem almost anticipatory. The electrical architecture supports life inside the cabin with ease. Outlets, USB ports, and integrated power modules feed appliances, lighting, and devices far from the nearest wall socket. For those who wander off-grid, the available solar array, backed by a robust auxiliary battery system, transforms sunlight into independence. There's a confidence that grows from this, knowing that the van can hold its own in remote pockets of landscape where silence is the only neighbor. And then the meaning of this machine begins to unfold. The 2025 Chevy Camper van represents more than mobility. It's a promise of presence. For families, it becomes a shared room that carries laughter across state lines. For solo travelers, it becomes a private retreat that rewrites the rhythm of life. For working nomads, it becomes a studio on wheels, a space where creativity and productivity are no longer bound to one fixed address. It is both an escape and a return, an escape from monotony and a return to curiosity. Ownership feels less like operating a vehicle and more like carrying a key to a different lifestyle. Maintenance routines are straightforward, storage is intuitive, and the durability of the interior materials suggests they were chosen not just for beauty, but for endurance. Spills wipe away, hinges stay tight, and the van feels ready for years of use. Not delicate, not fragile, but dependable in a way that invites bold plans. Inside, the experience becomes personal. Morning routines unfold in a warm glow as sunlight filters through window shades. Coffee brews, condensation gathers on the stainless sink, and the quiet hum of the power system greets the day with a steady confidence. Evenings settle in with the soft tap of rain on the roof, the air thick with the scent of pine or desert dust, depending on the day's journey. The van transforms from transport to shelter, from shelter to companion. The 2025 Chevy Camper van is for those who listen to the road not for noise but for invitation. For those who see a map not as boundaries but as possibilities. For those who understand that comfort and exploration do not need to live apart. It was built for travelers who want the world at arm's reach but never at the cost of warmth, security, or the familiar rituals of home. This is the rare machine that blurs the line between destination and journey. It doesn't simply take you somewhere. It gives you room to breathe along the way. Its interior carries the spirit of a modern retreat. Its engineering delivers the calm strength of a seasoned companion. And its meaning lies in the spaces between. The miles where memory takes root and the end. The 2025 Chevy Camper van is more than a vehicle. It's a moving chapter of life, waiting for the next story to unfold the moment the engine turns and the horizon opens. The road stretches into the horizon, silent and waiting. And into that quiet comes a machine built not just to travel, but to transform the journey itself. The 2026 GMC Savannah Limo Camper. A rolling statement of presence, power, and pure escape that IT stands in the light like a tailored suit made of steel, commanding attention without raising its voice. Its long, sculpted body carries the confidence of a vehicle that knows its purpose. The proportions are unmistakably Savannah, yet elevated, refined, stretched with intention. Chrome accents trace its edges like strokes of a well-sharpened blade, catching the sun as if they were made to sculpt the daylight itself. The front fascia feels bold but calm, designed less to intimidate and more to announce its authority with quiet clarity. The stance is strong, anchored, and planted, giving the impression that even at rest, it could cross a continent without hesitation. That as the eye moves along the side panels, the surface reads like a single continuous line of motion. The length becomes a canvas of reflections, clean and deliberate, echoing the silhouette of a grand touring yacht gliding across still water. Large tinted windows hint at something more inside, a private world hidden within the flow of the road. Every material, from the brushed metal trim to the seamless paneling, feels chosen with purpose, not excess. It is a machine that respects simplicity but refuses to be ordinary. Open the door, and the atmosphere changes. The interior unfolds like a lounge built for motion, a balanced blend of utility and luxury. Soft ambient lighting glows along the cabin edges, creating a sense of warmth that feels crafted rather than installed. Premium seating lines the space, sculpted for hours of travel yet inviting enough to make the traveler forget that this is still a vehicle and not a private suite. The textures are deliberate: smooth leather, polished surfaces, and quiet fabrics that absorb noise like a studio designed for solitude. The cabin becomes a sanctuary, a shelter from distance, built to make every mile feel like a moment rather than a measurement. But beneath its elegant presence, the 2026 Savannah Limo Camper is still rooted in what has always defined the Savannah line: dependable engineering and an unshakable mechanical backbone. It carries GMC's trusted V8 power plant, tuned for both endurance and confident acceleration. The claimed output delivers the muscle needed for highway merging, steep climbs, and long touring stretches, yet it remains smooth enough to keep the cabin calm and unbroken. Press the throttle and it moves with the steady, deliberate push of a locomotive gathering momentum, never rushed, never strained, just controlled strength. The chassis is reinforced to manage the limo configuration, balancing weight with stability. On the open highway, it tracks straight and sure, the steering precise enough that the driver feels connected without ever feeling burdened by the dimensions. The suspension, tuned for comfort, absorbs imperfections in the road the way a well-made quilt softens the chill of night, quietly, consistently, without drawing attention to itself. Even when the pavement changes, the cabin remains steady, allowing conversation, rest, or work to continue uninterrupted. Technology plays a guiding but discreet role. A modern infotainment suite offers navigation, connectivity, and vehicle control, yet it is integrated with a restraint that doesn't disrupt the mood of the cabin. The systems are designed to feel like tools rather than distractions, simple, effective, and intuitive. Driver assistance features extend confidence on long routes, supporting awareness without dulling the experience. It is engineering meant to empower, not overshadow, keeping the travel purposeful and centered. Step into the rear cabin, and the camper aspect reveals itself in subtle but transformative ways. A compact kitchenette, crafted with clean lines and durable materials, invites the sort of slow, thoughtful living that only long journeys can inspire. Storage solutions tuck into corners with precision, maximizing space without crowding it. Select models include sleeping accommodations that fold into place with the soft movement of well-made furniture. It is not a cluttered camping rig, but a refined living environment where every component feels integrated into the flow of the space. And yet, despite the features, the Savannah Limo Camper is not defined by any single element. Its true identity emerges only when the engineering, the interior atmosphere, and the experience of travel all converge. It becomes a companion, a vessel for long weekends, cross-state commitments, midnight departures, and slow returns. It holds stories, not specs, and it carries them across landscapes with the unwavering patience of a machine built to keep going. Where many vehicles chase speed or extravagance, this one chases possibility. It is a home for those who want to move through the world with confidence, privacy, and purpose. For families, it becomes a traveling retreat where memories take shape between destinations. For professionals, it turns the road into a mobile workspace of clarity and calm. For explorers, it feels like an open invitation, a blank map, ready to fill with miles. Owning the 2026 GMC Savannah Limo Camper is not simply about acquiring a vehicle. It is about choosing a lifestyle that values spaciousness, independence, and self-directed travel. Roads become less like barriers and more like connectors, linking one quiet moment to the next. The cabin becomes a stable base, a place where routine can exist even in constant motion. And when the world beyond the windows shifts from cities to forests, from deserts to coastlines, the interior remains familiar. A constant presence in a changing landscape, IT represents freedom without chaos, luxury without noise, capability without ego. It does not demand attention. It earns it. And every person who steps inside, whether driver or passenger, feels that shift, the subtle transition from simply riding in a vehicle to inhabiting a moving space designed with intention. As the journey winds down, the limo camper doesn't lose its composure. It carries the calm of a seasoned traveler, the kind that has crossed long highways and weathered countless seasons. It arrives with dignity, holding itself with the same confidence it had at the start. And when the engine settles into silence, the cabin remains warm, still, and welcoming, as if the journey itself lingers in the air. The 2026 GMC Savannah Limo Camper is not chasing trends. It's shaping its own path. It exists for those who want a bridge between mobility and comfort, between exploration and retreat. It offers a way of traveling that feels intentional, almost meditative, as though each mile is a chance to reset, to reflect, or simply to breathe. And in a world where speed often overshadows experience, This machine reminds the traveler that the road is still one of the last great places to slow down and rediscover clarity. It is a vehicle made for movement, but also for the moments that happen along the way, the quiet ones, the unexpected ones, and the ones that define the journey long after the destination has been reached. The horizon is still out there, waiting, unchanged and unwavering. And the Savannah limo camper is ready to meet it, not with noise, but with purpose. Not with haste, but with confidence. A long, elegant machine built for the kind of travel that stays with a person. Because some vehicles simply take you places. But this one lets you bring your world with you.